Is this thing working? Hey guys, Baron here. Today we're finally back with another episode of Legendary Origins. We've been on a little hiatus since we did this last time with Mewtwo and Mew of the Kanto region. If you haven't checked that out yet, the link will be in the description below. But I've gotta say, the hype's as high as ever as we dig into the Johto region with the legendary beasts being Raikou, Entei, and Suicune. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe button, and share this video with a friend or two. But with that being said, let's get into it. Now, to understand what legendary beasts are actually based on, it is first relevant to look at their names, because they actually share a trend. They are all related to monarchs. Raikou is derived from the Japanese words Raikou, meaning lightning, which might be an amalgamation of the words Rai, meaning thunder, and Ku, meaning emperor. Entei is a combination of the words Enten, translating to blazing heat, and Kotei, which is another word for emperor except for Ku. Suicune might be a combination of Sui and Kun, meaning water and monarch respectively. And this common trait of the noble is represented in the beast's designs as well. Raikou is a thunder Pokemon, and it is quite obviously based on the saber-toothed tiger, a prehistoric feline creature, but also a Bengal tiger. Something that I've always thought was kinda cool is how the stripes on Raikou's body resemble electric bolts and how its tail resembles an electric current. The white fur that is around Raikou's head is very similar to how the Siberian tiger likewise has fur around its neck. Even the demeanor of Raikou is similar to a tiger, being swift and stealthy. The grey plate on Raikou's head could be a kind of crown, going along with the whole monarch thing. But Raikou is not just based on creatures from our own world, it is also based on beings in mythology. It seems to have a lot of connections to the Raiju from Japanese mythology. This beast's body is either in resemblance with a wolf, a dog, a fox, a tiger, or a weasel, and it is completely surrounded by lightning. Even its cry sounds like the thunder. Like, how dope is that? They are even known to inhabit people's navels and break out of there when finishing hibernating, hurting the person. This is actually a reason why it is a traditional deed to sleep on your stomach in Japanese cultures during a thunderstorm, since these are the times where they are thought to seek out humans. And I can't blame them. I mean, imagine giving birth to this thing. That's definitely not a fun time. Raikou seems to be based on its tiger form. Interestingly enough, it shares through this an origin with Manectric, while it is thought to be based on the wolf form. As for the volcano Pokemon Entei, it is without a doubt based on a lion. Like, there's no question about it, with regality and overall elegance. What is less known, however, is that it is specifically based on a Chinese guardian lion, or as it is often called, a lion of Fu. These were traditionally guards of Chinese temples and other Buddhist bases, as they were thought to resemble qualities like strength and courage. This would essentially scare away the people intending to raid or attack the temple, such as thieves with impure hearts. This is actually pretty interesting when you think about it, with the whole role that Entei plays in the third Pokemon movie as a protector and guardian of his young daughter Molly. Just like Raikou though, it has a regal face mask, this time being a Kabuto helmet, and no, that is not taking a Pokemon and putting it on your head. I mean, I'm sure that will work, but no, this is rather a classic Asian soldier helmet that armies used to have. Interestingly, Entei shares some traits with dogs, having kind of a flat face like a Mastiff, and long and flowy fur like a Saint Bernard. Of course, we can't leave this entry without explaining Entei's typing. And this typing is based on that lions are symbolized with fire, both in traditions and in popular culture. I mean, if you look at the Harry Potter universe, for example, the House of Gryffindor is strongly linked to the element of fire, and it of course has a lion as a symbol. So with this in mind, and Entei's linked to volcanoes with it having smoke and mountain cliffs on its back, and of course it being called the volcano Pokemon, it explains the typing perfectly well. Suicune has, without a doubt, one of the best design origins by far. That is very clear by the ranking we did on the best designed Pokemon. If you want to check that out, link will be in the description below. But as for this Aurora Pokemon's feline origins, it is a bit unclear. Some claim it is a wolf, while others claim that it is a Chinese unicorn. And while both of those arguments are valid, I'd say that the true basis of Suicune's design is a leopard. It has a very sleek and skinny body, unlike its brethren Entei and Raikou, which is similar to a leopard, its agile and sleek body. It also had spots on its fur, which is a clear sign of its origin, since it is something that it has in common with leopards. It probably doesn't shock you either that Suicune has a close connection to crystals. I mean, it is the mascot for Pokemon Crystal version after all, and this is probably the origins of its big horn on its head. It is a crystal-like structure after all, and that's probably what it's based on. And here's where we get into the unicorn aspect. Well, actually, it is a bit more of a chimeric creature. We are talking about the Killian, a Chinese creature with horns and flames around its body. It appears in Eastern Asian cultures like China and was said to appear at the birth or death of a sage or a ruler. It is a good omen though, thought to be linked to prosperity and serenity. It is also often portrayed with fire all around its body, like I said, so Suicune is basically a water version of this, purifying water and having a mist around its body instead of its mane. Something else very interesting about the Killian was how sought after it was. Emperor Wu of Han, a region is what is now China, claimed to own several, and the Ming Dynasty even shipped over plenty giraffes from Africa to make these seem to be Killians. Something that I imagine worked with varied results. Suicune also has a strong connection to the wind, with it having tails seeming to be strands flowing in the wind, and its mist mane. It is probably based on a bunch of wind deities in this case, since after all it is spoken of as the northern wind. A creature it is most likely has the strongest connection with is the Fujin of the Shinto religion. By the way, this is the god that Tornadus is based on, and we'll get back to that when we get into the Unova region of this series. This is basically a scary ass fat wizard sitting on a cloud, and generally giving people creepy vibes. This creature has its origins in trading, specifically on the Silk Road that connected Asia to the rest of the world by trading valuables. Maybe this is why it often has a leopard skin as clothing, once again pointing back to Suicune being a leopard. But either way, it certainly is an interesting origin.
So guys, that was this episode of Legendary Origins. I definitely have a huge soft spot for these Pokemon, and they're definitely my favorite legendary trio. My favorite of them is probably Entei, but the others are great too. Which is your favorite though? And which origin do you think is the coolest? I'd love to hear your thoughts and get a discussion going. Of course, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe button, and share this video with a friend or two. But with that being said, I'm gonna get the hashtag out of here. I'll see you in just a click away though. Before, until, and after then, stay awesome.